Well, good afternoon, peoples.
Good afternoon.
So today we are going to be exploring Brunswick, Georgia, and this is going to be the last of our Golden Isle tour of Georgia. So we've already done Jekyll Island, and we've already done St. Simon, and now we're doing Brunswick. And Brunswick is not an island, but Brunswick is where we're staying. And it's like a really good jumping off point to get to all of these awesome places.
Yeah, it's literally like 20 minutes to both islands, so super convenient.
Super convenient, especially with us because we've had to do multiple trips to both islands with and without Riley, so that really made it nice.
So we are starting today's video with everyone's favorite, Riley eats a french fry in a new state. And we have decided to get her a fry from Willie's Wee-Nee Wagon.
Now usually we kind of like pick out a french fry restaurant like way before we get here, and sometimes that's great, sometimes it's not great. And we kind of had a couple places in mind, and we drove past Willie's Wee-Nee Wagon, and so this is it. This is where Riley gets her Georgia french fry from. So Candace, what do you know about Willie's Wee-Nee Wagon?
Well, obviously it's mainly known for hot dogs and a pork chop sandwich.
Yeah, which sounds really good. I've never had that before.
But it started in 1975 by a couple from Chicago who actually came to the Golden Isles on vacation and decided they loved it so much they wanted to move here. I read it started actually as a hot dog cart and then eventually became like an actual restaurant.
Now, I have never been to Chicago. I think Chicago is known for their hot dogs, so I'm going to trust Mr. Willie on how he makes a hot dog. It's probably pretty good. So we got something for Riley, and then we had to have a hot dog, so we each got a hot dog. Hey.
She said, oh, am I supposed to be in this?
Hey. You interested in this? You want a Georgia french fry, baby? You coming any closer? Is that where you're staying?
You know, I stay right here. As she falls.
That was your Georgia french fry from Willie's Wee-Nee Wagon.
You're
Is it
welcome,
good?
honey.
You done? Okay, go on back. Go on back.
So I got the chili cheese dog weenie. Pretty simple, pretty classic hot dog. That's really good. The chili has beans, which I feel like a lot of times the chili on hot dogs doesn't have beans, at least the ones I've had. But I kind of like the beans. Gives it a little je ne sais quoi, if you will.
And as for myself, I got the Willie dog, which is mustard, relish, onions, and tomatoes. I had a hard time choosing, so I just went with the one named after the guy that made the hot dog. It's probably pretty safe. Oh, let's turn it around this way and get a little bit of everything. It's a really good hot dog. There's just something special about a hot dog that doesn't have to be like amazing. Like, it's just a really, really good, simple, delicious American hot dog. You can't really get any better than that. So we are going to finish these weenies. We're going to finish the fries. We might give Riley one more fry. And then after this, we're actually going to head to the Brunswick Farmers Market, which is just a couple minutes down the road at one of the parks. So we're going to eat these weenies and see you weenies at the Farmers Market.
Well,
Wah, wah.
well, we pulled into the parking lot of where the little pavilion is that the farmers market stands are supposed to be underneath, and
Let me just flip the camera. Yeah, there it is, folks. The Brunswick Farmers Market.
there's a man sitting on a chair inside, and that's about it.
To be fair, let me get that going again. To be fair, we'd read some conflicting dates, times, years even,
Yeah, originally when I saw this place as like a popular thing to do in Brunswick, the thing I was reading was an article that said it was open on Tuesdays from 11 to 5 in the summer.
Which is now.
And also maybe on Saturdays, I don't remember. So I was like, oh, that's cool, we'll do that on Tuesday. And then for whatever reason, I looked something up about the farmer's market the other day, and it said open every other Saturday in the summer, but no other day, and I was like, that's weird. And then I looked on something else that said it had just been recently updated, and it said, no, we're open Tuesdays, Saturdays, and one other day from 8 to 5. And I was like, okay. I said, so according to that, it's probably open on Tuesdays, because two things said it was. I'm not sure what time, but probably sometime between the hours of 8 and 5. But no, I don't know if it's open on Saturdays. We unfortunately won't be here on a Saturday, so we'll never know.
We never will. But if you're ever in Brunswick on a Saturday or in every other Saturday, it is at the Mary Ross Waterfront Park. We hope it's incredible. We hope you find some delectable treats, some local veggies, some fine crafted meat. Maybe Willie sells a Wee-Nee wagon there. I have no idea, but well, darn, we like farmers market.
Really cute online.
And there's like puppies in the pictures and stuff. So we had Riley all dressed up, and there's God, she is so cute. Oh my gosh, honey. Riley, honey, there's no farmer's market today. Honey, there's no farmer's market. I'm sorry. Yo, this is the best dog ever. She's not a paid actor. Okay.
Well,
that's all right. We always have backup plans. So now that we've checked out the farmer's market, where we were going to buy ingredients for our dinner tonight, so add another errand to the list of things to do.
we were going to film inside of the grocery store. No, I'm just kidding. No, that would be pretty boring.
Maybe we could go interview these people sitting under the pavilion.
Yeah, there's just like a lone man sitting in a little camping chair under there.
I don't think he wants to talk to us.
But anyways.
So, what are we doing next, babe?
Next on the agenda today was to check out a tree. Which doesn't sound exciting, but
Yeah, I think we should just leave it there.
you'll see why it's exciting.
We're heading to a tree. So here's that tree.
It's pretty large.
It is called the Lover's Oak. Apparently lovers used to meet here. It's literally in the middle of two roads.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
It's between 350 and 900 years old. They're not sure, which there's a lot of fire ants in this area. So we're
Bug situation.
we're just checking constantly. So somewhere between 350 and 900 years old. That's kind of a big range. But it's pretty old.
Yeah, it's really like cool and twisty and
It said at its base it is 35 feet in circumference, which is a pretty darn big tree. But yeah, there's a bunch of pictures on the sign here of people like posing in front of it for like the last couple hundred years. And I think it said it is believed to be one of the oldest trees in the entire state of Georgia, which is really crazy to think about. But this is like 3 blocks from our Airbnb, so this is like an awesome place that we're staying. Unfortunately, we can't give you guys a tour of our Airbnb. They requested no commercial photography, which sometimes Airbnbs say that, so we can't give you a tour. We'll post the link in the description below like we always do,
but it's super cute and we really like it.
Yeah, we love it. It's awesome. It's cold. There's air conditioning and a toilet, so that really you know.
It's all we really need in life, folks.
Just air conditioning and a toilet, and the three of us are pretty darn happy.
We're actually gonna go drop Riley off at the Airbnb, since we're like right next door basically. And we are going to do something a little weird. It's something that looked kind of cool and fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and break the punch bowl here. We are going to a pinball arcade slash museum. Like, it's like the top 5 pinball arcade museums in the entire country. They're supposed to have like a giant plethora of pinball and also arcade games. And when we were staying at that house in Bristol, Tennessee / Virginia that had a bunch of arcade games, I realized that Candace is awesome at arcade games. So I thought that I would stoke that fire and see what kind of games we could play together.
Yeah, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, so we're gonna drop off Riley and go check out the pinball place. Actually, it's called the Pinball Palace.
Beautiful.
Well, we got it wrong again. We thought we knew the Pinball Palace's hours, and we did not.
No, it turns out we were looking at the wrong day, so we drove to the Pinball Palace museum place and it was closed. Unfortunately, it's not going to work for us to go this time, but we definitely want to check out a pinball arcade thing on one of our adventures. It's something we kind of wanted to do for a little bit now. However, because we are staying in Brunswick, Georgia, we did definitely want to try out some Brunswick stew.
Now, interestingly enough, I did not know Brunswick stew was from Brunswick, Georgia, because I've always heard of it as coming from Brunswick, Virginia. I knew it was a southern stew, so we looked into it, and apparently it's like both. The name might have come from Brunswick, Virginia, but some people say that it was actually made here in the Brunswick area, technically on St. Simon is what I read. So the stew was said to have been first made, like I said, right on St. Simon Island in 1898. And it's basically a bunch of beans, local vegetables, it's a tomato-based sauce, and back in the day it used to be made with squirrel and rabbit. That's not what this one is. Chicken is a really popular meat choice. I believe here we have kind of a concoction of meat. Looks like some chicken and maybe some barbecued sausage or something. Maybe they're trying to do the two meats thing. So we picked up this Brunswick stew at a place called Willie Jewells, just north of town. Now, being honest, it's a chain. It's not the only place, but we had trouble finding a lot of Brunswick stew in the beginning of July when the temperature is 100. There's definitely some barbecue places that still had it, but
a lot of the like local small business places only sell it in like the fall and winter, which makes sense.
Yeah, and there's a lot of places that only sell it like once a week on Saturdays. It's like their Saturday special. So we got the one that seemed pretty good for the place that we had access to. So I guess we eat it now. Sure, I'm gonna get a little bit of everything in here. You ready? Oh wow. Yeah,
good.
Lots of little beans and veggies in there. Yeah, that's definitely some type of smoked sausage. Wow.
Which makes sense because we picked it up from the barbecue.
Yeah. I was not super excited to eat stew on a day where it's like 101. But wow, that's really, really good. It's got a ton of flavor. It's not spicy, but it's got a ton of spices in it. That is really, really good.
Yeah, I like the sausage in it. I think the kind that I've had has just been veggies and a tomato-based sauce with chicken, but the chicken is like so moist. It's like shredded chicken basically in this stew, not like chunks of chicken. But the sausage is interesting and different. Pretty good.
Yeah, I think I would get this again, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and say that I like Brunswick stew. Now we just have to have some Brunswick stew from Brunswick, Virginia, and see which one tastes better.
So this is actually going to wrap up our Georgia series. We are heading home tomorrow. We don't exactly know where we're going next. We have an idea. Potentially Maryland. If you see a Maryland video after this, that's where we went. But we haven't booked anything yet, but we're thinking Maryland for our next trip.
It's super close to Virginia, and I have family in Maryland, but I don't really spend a lot of time up there. So we're excited to maybe get into like some coastal Maryland, maybe catch a king crab or wrestle with a snow crab or something. I don't know. I think that's what they do in Maryland. Definitely enjoyed visiting the Golden Isles of Georgia. Getting to see 2 of the barrier islands was incredible, and even hanging out in Brunswick was really neat. Gross. Even hanging out in Brunswick was really neat because it was such a central location for all of the different places that we were trying to bebop to. Jekyll Island definitely had like a more slow-paced, small-town, relaxing vibe. St. Simon was pretty poppin', but again, it was a holiday weekend, you know, July 4th. People get kind of crazy for that stuff, but yeah, both of them I really enjoyed a lot. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely a lot more stuff to do on St. Simon's Island,
Yeah.
but if you're looking for a more like chill beach vibe, I would check out Jekyll Island. But yeah, Brunswick is definitely a very, very convenient location to hop off on a bunch of different tangents of Georgia.
And even though we weren't able to get to the farmer's market and we messed up the time for the Pinball Palace and we can't give you a tour of the Airbnb, all of those will be in the description below. So if you're ever hanging out in Brunswick, Georgia and you're looking for something to do, there's a few suggestions. So as always, we'll see y'all somewhere. Riley, I'm sorry you couldn't have any Brunswick stew. I bet you would have loved it, but that's not something you can have, baby. Say goodbye.
Thanks for watching Riley Roams. Click subscribe to keep up with all of our latest travels, and don't forget to click that like button too.